In the NBA, there are always going to be a bunch of young players who kind of get shoved down to the bottom of the young player prospect hierarchy, who end up becoming overrated and don't really get that much shine. In this video, I'm going to highlight some of my favorite players in that bucket. Players that you might not even think are good, players who don't get that much coverage. Some of these guys are rookies. Some of these guys have just made underrated improvements to their game, and I think these are some of my favorite young players in the NBA that are just kind of like random dudes. We've got 7 guys to discuss. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe. We're trying to hit, I don't even know how many subscribers. We're just trying to make videos and make a lot of videos, and if you enjoy this one, make sure to like and subscribe. Let's just get into it. First player that I have on this list is Cody Williams. Now, a lot of people, probably most Jazz fans, don't think Cody Williams is very good, and I've been watching a lot of late game Utah Jazz basketball lately, and I'm gonna tell you that I don't think Cody Williams is actually that bad, and he actually does play a lot like Dub. He does the same 3-point celly every time he makes one, which is super hype. But he's starting to figure out dribble penetration. He's starting to become a good transition player. He just needs to like work on the basketball IQ and his ball handling and his 3-point shooting and his passing. He needs to work on a lot of things, but like he's still a baby. He's still like learning the game as he plays it. And I have always been a proponent that like we got like way too ahead of ourselves calling this guy trash. In a draft that was expected to be historically awful, everyone decided that Cody Williams was the worst of the worst, and I don't really think that's the case. He's only 21, and he had like by far the best game of his career the other day against the Clippers. I think he's going to be fine, and I actually think he could be pretty good eventually. He just needs a lot of time to develop. He's got all the tools to be really, really good, though, because he plays a lot like his brother. All right, the next guy on this list I got is Yannick Coden Niederhauser. I am not going to say his whole name for the full video. He needs like a cool nickname or like a cool like anagram, because like this just doesn't work. I'm just gonna call him Yannick because that just makes way more sense. He is just such an explosive energy big for a guy who's 7 feet tall, super fluid athlete. One of the picks in the later rounds of this draft, or one of the picks at the end of the first round of this draft that just like no one really cared about, just like an NPC backup center for the Clippers, but he is a freak athlete on the boards. He gets up and down on defense. Really, really good athlete. Just makes big, loud plays. He really like, he'll emote if he gets a big block. He rebounds in traffic like a motherfucker. Just a really good energy big who's just got a massive catch radius. I think he's got all the physical tools to be a really like masterful like energy big in the NBA. Now, there's not really that many bigs who thrive without a jump shot or like modern skills at this point, so you'd have to be really, really good to sort of get to like a Jalen Duren caliber. But like, I mean, he's got the physical tools to make it happen, and he's super hyped to watch whenever he gets in the game. So Yannick Coden Niederhauser, definitely one of my favorite like underrated prospects in the NBA, but getting some more shine lately. But still, I think the Clippers could utilize him more when Zubac is out, because he just brings so much energy immediately, and he's like their only interesting young player other than like Kobe Sanders. Tyler Kolek is the next guy on this list, probably the most known prospect that I'm going to talk about. He is just a Hall of Fame game manager. Like, we talk about game managers in the NFL, like quarterbacks who kind of just like, I don't know, manage the game. They don't make flashy plays. They don't make big highlight plays. They can't turn the momentum of a game by themselves, but they make the right plays at the right time. That's kind of what Tyler Kolek does. He kind of fades into the background on offense, but he can get the ball up and down the court really effectively. He's a very like strong, like he's a very like simplified player. Like, he doesn't play outside of his abilities. He's a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter. He's a cold ass white boy that makes tough passes in traffic. For someone his size to be effective in the NBA, he's gonna have to be more than just like an elite offensive player, or he'd have to be very, very good. He's got to be a guy who can be like consistent, who can run a second unit. And I think out of all like the up and coming backup point guards in the NBA, and there's a lot of those right now, like this is my guy, and I've been way ahead of the curve on this guy forever. Like, I've known about him since he was like at Marquette training with Chris Brickley, and he's just like a chill guy. Like, there's a clip of him on Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson's podcast, like learning how to read. He's just a chill guy. So yeah, Tyler Kolek, definitely one of my like favorite underrated young players in the NBA, but he's starting to become like more like properly rated like as the weeks go by, pretty much. All right, next guy on this list I got is Ja'Kobe Walter. This guy has had such an interesting career arc since high school. He went from like a big-time scorer, pretty traditional shooting guard prospect in high school, like a top 10 recruit in the country, had a very disappointing year at Baylor, became just like a catch-and-shoot three-point shooter for the Raptors, didn't really thrive in that role as a rookie, and has now become one of the better 3-and-D young guards in the NBA. He's just got great hands. He knows where to find himself on defense. He's really pesky. He's not the most physical player. He's not the most imposing. He's not the most athletic. Doesn't have the craziest off the dribble game, but he's got this herky jerkiness that I really like when he handles the ball. It's almost like he's like glitching whenever he's like attacking a closeout or whatever it is. It's like his body is like constantly rocking back and forth. Not the most pretty jump shot, but it does go in. Again, very good defensive player. And he's not really unlearning the herky jerkiness that he's had since high school. I think if he becomes like a good ball handler, he could be like a 17 point per game scorer in the NBA, because he is kind of hard to stay in front of because of the way he sort of moves. Also just has like a hilarious nickname combo. His name is a combination of Jordan and Kobe, which is like kind of weird that his parents, I think he's like an 05 baby, and his parents had decided in 2005 that Kobe was already cool enough to name their kid after, and then the jaw comes from Jordan, which doesn't really make sense. I guess it really should be like Joe Kobe. And then his nickname is Wubs, which I like. Like none of these things really make sense, but yeah, Ja'Kobe Walter, one of my favorite prospects in Toronto. He's sort of like, out of all their like shooting guards, who like not all of them are kind of battling for minutes, he's kind of the one that's won out. Grady Dick isn't really doing anything this year. So yeah, Ja'Kobe Walter, definitely one of my favorite prospects in the East. All right, next we got Adou Thiero, who doesn't really get nearly as many minutes as any of these other guys, but I've been a fan of this guy since college. He got his car stolen by Puka Nacua's brother, which like automatically like you get like a storyline buff just because of that. And just when this guy is in garbage time, because he's such a freak athlete and because he was like a 3-year guy in college, he just makes the right plays on literally every possession. He's an insane athlete, very good defender. His jump shot is not like the worst looking I've ever seen. It doesn't really go in at the highest rate, but it's not that bad. And I think because the Lakers defense just sucks so much ass and they need guys who can just make the right plays sometimes, I think this guy is going to get some rotation minutes by the end of the year, because like honestly, I think he really excels in small doses of time. I really want to see what happens when he gets 20 minutes a game. I called this guy one of the most underrated prospects in the draft. He ended up going second round. The Lakers traded up to get him. I think he's going to be pretty good for them in time. And just like already, like I think he's off to a great start. And just when you put this guy on the floor at the same time as Bronny, by the way, like I have been like #1 Bronny defender, but Jesus Christ, he just makes him look so bad. But yeah, Adou Thiero, probably the best prospect the Lakers have, to be honest. Okay, next on this list, I got another backup point guard, and that's Craig Porter Jr. Craig Porter is just a smooth operator. He's not a player who's super fast or athletic. He's not a guy who really relies on that to get the ball moving. He just plays really slow. He makes tough shots. He's a good shooter. And this guy is an insanely good ball handler for someone that doesn't have like the flashy speed that like a prime Jamal Crawford or Kyrie Irving had. He's just you cannot take the ball from this guy. He's just such a good ball handler. Really not a game manager in the same way that Tyler Kolek is. He's kind of like a combo guard, I would say. Also not that big though. I'm just a big fan of Craig Porter Jr.'s game. He's got a really nice floater, which is another thing I like about it. He kind of plays like Andrew Nembhard if he was more jump shot oriented and he didn't have as many tricks of the trade as Andrew Nembhard does. But like this is still like one of the better, like more exciting young guards that the Cavs have. I really like Craig Porter Jr. I think if they didn't have so many their point guard situation this year is just a mess, but like I think he is in time going to be like their permanent backup, the real Ty Jerome replacement. It doesn't look like the Lonzo Ball thing is working all that well. Yeah, man, Craig Porter, the smooth operator. I'm a big fan of this guy. And then the last player I have on this list is Max Christie, who's probably maybe the most well-known player on this list other than Kolek. This guy's a 46% three-point shooter this year. He went from a guy who like wasn't that good of a three-point shooter at all, but did kind of have like the complementary wing skills, to now like that is his elite skill. And when you pair that with his size at the 3 position, He's got a huge wingspan. He's a decent passer. He can create his own shot off the dribble, which is really good. And like he's got this demeanor about him that I really like. Plus he's basically on like a 2K my player career path. Started as like a second round pick for the Lakers, and like has every like season very gradually added things to his game. Like has basically acquired more and more badges over time. Like really got like a nice like storyline boost because of the Luka trade, and that I think has sort of put him in a much better position on the Mavericks, where sort of he gets to create a lot of his own offense. He sort of gets a bigger role. I think this guy's going to be like a 17 to 20 point per game scorer pretty soon. I think he's really, really, really good. The Mavericks are a complete mess, but this is exactly the kind of player that they're going to need next to Cooper Flagg going forward. I know they don't have a lot of picks and they don't have a lot of young players other than Flagg, but the random young players they do have, I was considering putting Ryan Nembhard on this list. Shout out my boy Ben, he used to train with Ryan Nembhard. Brandon Williams, another guy they have. The Mavericks have like this interesting young core that I actually really like. Derek Lively is another guy for them. Musa Cisse, who's just a freak athlete. I think all those guys together, plus Flagg, plus whatever they get from AD, and probably Kyrie, in my opinion, they should probably just trade both and bite the bullet with the draft picks. Mavericks are building something really, really interesting, and I think Max Christie is probably the second best young player they have going forward. I'm a really, really big fan of his. He's just one of the most visually appealing players to watch in the NBA. His game is also very smooth, just like CPJ. But that's going to do it for this video. Make sure to let me know in the comments what young players are your favorite in the NBA, at least ones that are also very underrated or like kind of don't really get a lot of like spotlight. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys want to see in the next one. Happy New Year. This is like the first video I've uploaded since the new year. I'm not going to make any promises in this one. I feel like I make a promise to like make more videos in every video, and that never really seems to come to fruition. I'm just gonna try and hammer through all the ones that I have on my video ideas list and then take it from there. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.